Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has issued an advisory guiding citizens on the use of face masks in order to keep them informed on verified ways to stay safe from COVID-19. In a tweet, the NCDC says it's crucial to ensure proper handling of masks, since improper disposal and frequent touching can increase risk of infection. According to the agency, medical masks are best reserved for patients and healthcare workers who need them most. The center explains that due to the global shortage of medical masks, people can make use of improvised options such as cloth. It adds that improvised options can be made out of cloth or any other materials and can be used as long as they are properly washed. Now let's move over to our Abuja studios, where Linda is standing by with more stories. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Melinda. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured the European Union that its donation of 50 million euros will go a long way towards supporting efforts to control the spread of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The president spoke when he received a delegation of the EU led by Ambassador Ketil Carlson at the State House in Abuja. The president also used the occasion to condole with EU member countries over the loss of lives to the pandemic. Correspondent Ibrahim Adra reports.
A delegation of the European Union inside the Aso Rock Council chamber. This meeting is coming only hours after President Buhari announced a further 2 weeks lockdown in the FCT, Lagos and Ogun. The social distancing rules apply here, with the visitors praising the country's effort at curbing COVID-19.
I wish to upfront congratulate you on a very powerful address to the nation last night and commend you indeed for the bold measures that you have taken, necessary measures, no doubt.
The visitor came bearing glad tidings.
Now, we are very pleased today to announce that the European Union will provide 50 million euros in addition to the 1.2 million euros already provided, equivalent to some 21 billion naira.
The donation channeled through the UN COVID-19 Basket Fund is the largest single response in Nigeria.
In our fight against COVID-19,
President Buhari is appreciative while condoling Europe for lives lost to the pandemic.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the families, friends, and communities impacted. Indeed, this brotherly support will save millions of lives. Nigeria, Africa, and many beneficiary countries across the world will remain grateful for generations to come.
In the meantime, the federal government is adding 1 million people to those who will benefit from its palliative measures. This was decided after the Ministers of Finance and that of Humanitarian Affairs met with President Buhari.
We are going to focus more now on the urban poor. These are people who depend on the informal sector to, earn their livelihood. They are daily wage earners.
Having reviewed the method of sharing some of the relief materials, the federal government is asking the state governments to take over.
Going forward, we are going to give these food items, we are going to hand them over to the states.
The 2 weeks of additional lockdown announced, as well as other measures put in place, are necessary pain at a time confirmed cases of COVID-19 are on the increase. However, proper distribution of palliatives to the most vulnerable in an honest and transparent manner is not only reassuring, but will go a long way to ease the pressure on citizens. From the presidential villa, Ibrahim Adra, reporting for Channels Television News.
The leadership of the National Assembly wants to see more coordination in the management of donations received in support of the fight against coronavirus. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, made the call after a meeting with President Buhari in company of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila. Other issues raised by the NAS leadership include improving power supply for citizens, especially in the period of lockdown.
This afternoon, we had an engagement with Mr. President to discuss with him what we have resolved in the leadership of the National Assembly and our opinion on various issues regarding the fight against COVID-19 in Nigeria, as well as going forward. For example, the various donations that we are receiving should go into a single account and should have a management fund committee that will be in charge of releases, and accountability and transparency requires that we have that separation. So, and I believe that the Presidential Task Force is doing a very good job. They have been very proactive, and they deserve our commendation. It is also an opportunity for us to commend Nigerians and corporate bodies that have given us donations, but we believe that there should be more coordination as far as the management of the funds donated are concerned. We also believe that it is time to reform the way and manner we implement the social investment program. This is a very important program that is to help Nigerians, those poor and vulnerable. And we believe that having implemented this program for 4 years or thereabout, from 2016 to date, we should be reviewing to see and evaluate the efficacy and the efficiency with which we have been implementing this program. And I believe that we also need to legislate on the way forward on how to fight poverty in Nigeria.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Melinda.
Many thanks, Linda. The governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, has assured parents of the abducted Chibok schoolgirls that his government will never give up on the rescue of the remaining 112 girls still in Boko Haram captivity. This message of empathy, hope and assurance was delivered to the parents by the state government delegation to Chibok on the 6th anniversary of the students' abduction on April the 14th, 2014. The delegation also presented 500 bags of rice, 250 gallons of cooking oil, as well as the sum of 5.6 million naira cash to support the parents of the remaining girls, since they are all farmers whose productivity have been severely affected. On April the 14th, in 2014, 276 schoolgirls were kidnapped by Boko Haram insurgents in Chibok, Borno State, northeast Nigeria. The uproar following the abduction and the creation of the Bring Back Our Girls group, a name that became a global hashtag, pressured the federal government to secure the release of a large number of girls. 6 years on, our correspondent, Oreoluwa Shonibare, revisits the Chibok kidnap and those yet to be released.
It's another year to remember the day Boko Haram insurgents ransacked Chibok community in Borno State, located in Nigeria's northeast, disrupting the lives of 276 girls in the process. The wave of emotions emitted by distraught parents was felt not just in Nigeria, but across the world. A movement was created in their support to pressure the federal government to secure the release of the abducted. And every day since the night of April 14, 2014, the noise over the girls has not reduced. The demand of release played a substantial part in making the federal government double its effort to ensure that a large number of the girls were released.
During the year, it was my great pleasure to secure release of 103 Chibok school girls. We are doing our best quietly and as effectively as possible to get the rest released.
However, as encouraging as this reunion of parents and once lost daughters is, the reminder that somewhere out there, over 100 victims are yet to be free from the clutches of men who forcefully claim them leaves a sour taste in the minds of families, wondering if the federal government can live up to its pledge and bring back their girls. Oreoluwa Shonibare, Channels Television News.
Now let's find out what's happening in the world of business. Anne is standing by.
The stock market resumed from the Easter break on a strong note today amid continued bargain hunting for low-priced valued stocks on the NSE. Chimeze Obiwago has the details for us.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Investors at the equities market returned from the Easter break with great optimism, buoyed by OPEC Plus decision over the weekend to cut oil output by 9.7 million barrels a day, which gave a positive indication of some recovery in the near future. Similarly, the news that countries most affected by the coronavirus are now looking to lift some restrictions on public life also boosted investor confidence, and that resulted to a whopping 2.32% rise on the all-share index. Investors took position mainly on the banking stocks. Look at the index, up by almost 5%. Consumer goods up 2.17% and oil and gas up 1.34%. On the activity chart, the volume recorded today is higher than what we saw on Thursday, 557.8 million shares. Value dropped though. Today we had 2.6 billion naira in 5,310 deals. Omoluabi Microfinance Bank, FBNH and UBA contributed to that volume and value there. Overall, investors are still maintaining a cautious posture until perhaps the rest of the month. And that was the Stock Market Report. I'm Chimeze Obiwago.
Thank you, Chimeze. While most of the world's leading stock markets closed today's session higher, investors are still sharing some exit strategies made for the lockdown on COVID-19 pandemic. Here are some of the closing figures for today. And with those positive numbers, we end Business News tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. It's back to you, Melinda.